The media told you that Seattle was dead, reigniting this doom loop narrative. Crime, homelessness, drug use, and this exodus from the city led to a downturn for the Seattle economy. But just as it has in the past, Seattle is rising again. We have seen this story before, and we've seen glorious comebacks in the city, and we're about to see one right now. But Seattle is proving the doomers wrong. Tens of thousands of new residents are expected to come into the city in the coming years. The AI boom is reshaping the city's trajectory, and billions of dollars are being spent on communities all across the city of Seattle. Now, there are certain pockets of this city that are poised to benefit the most from these shifts that we are starting to see. So in this video, I'll be breaking down my predictions for what those neighborhoods are. What's up, everyone? I'm Matthew Chapman, your local real estate expert. I'm a Seattle native. I'm passionate about this place. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the next areas that are set to boom, the 7 neighborhoods that I predict that are on the cusp of booming from all the exciting things that are happening in our city right now. I'm going to give you an overview of the trends that we saw during and after the pandemic that led to the downturn of our city. And I'm going to show you the areas that are already on the cusp or already started recovering or actually about to recover that we think are poised to experience this boom that we're talking about. So if you're a tech worker or you're thinking about relocating to this city, you're actually going to get a great head start in your research right now. So let's get into it right now. Let's look at how the city went wrong and how this negative reality of the city is starting to turn towards the opposite direction. So what happened in the city? We can debate the politics all day long, but the reality is there were certain policies and laws that were passed that helped foster this environment where homelessness, drug use, and crime could flourish, particularly in certain parts of this city, like near downtown, Belltown, and the International District, most notably. And at the same time this happened, the pandemic caused a number of people who could just really work remotely. They didn't need to show up to work anymore. They could work from their home and still be employed by these tech giants in the city central. And as a result, we saw just a lot of crime and homelessness rise right during that time, and it got even worse, right? So what happened was these condos and these high-rise office spaces, there was this exodus that occurred immensely just because of this pandemic. It just multiplied everything that was happening in the city. And so what we saw is that as the foot traffic in these areas of the downtown core began to plummet, we saw that really just increased the momentum for the crime, the drugs, and the homelessness. And that just had a tremendous negative impact on our city. And we saw that visitors weren't really willing to come downtown as much. And so that also amplified things. A number of local businesses really also took a hit because of this. And they actually started closing their operations, both large and small businesses, and commercial vacancies just began to skyrocket during this time. But the good news is this: we are starting to see a shift happening in our city. And really, the city officials, ordinary people are starting to work tirelessly to reverse these trends so that the city can return back to its former glory. For example, over the last 18 months, we've seen crime rates fall across categories, both violent and nonviolent. And we've seen record lows in certain crime categories, levels of unsheltered homelessness, as the city has seen a 30% decrease in tents in the city. Tourism is up over the past 2 years, and tourists are spending money again. The Seattle population is stabilizing and even growing, and people are not leaving the city in droves anymore. And developers are now creating multi-billion-dollar mixed communities all across the city, particularly in places that were underutilized. Now, there's still a lot of work to do, but I firmly believe, based upon the data and the stats, that we are headed the right direction. We are headed towards growth. We are headed towards the former glory days of this great emerald city that we call Seattle. So now, looking at this from a real estate perspective, there are actually certain neighborhoods that are benefiting in a greater way than others because of this positive change that we're seeing in the city. So in this video, I'm breaking down what's really happening in the real estate world in the city of Seattle. I'm going to show you 7 distinct neighborhoods that I think are benefiting the most and that are on the rise or actually have already started seeing results. Now, when it comes to neighborhoods starting to lead this comeback, we got to talk about Madison Park. Madison Park is right next to the freeway, pretty close to the University District. It's easy access. It's quiet because it's separated by this large park. Not quite like Central Park in New York, but it is stunningly beautiful. And there's so much to do there. There's walking trails. You're right next to Lake Washington. There's hikes and people can boat, kayak. People love Madison Park for its charm. It's almost got this, you can find these beautiful like Spanish architecture homes. Even there's this French influence there. And you got these quintessential homes in Madison Park that people are flocking to because of the proximity to Tech Hub, both in downtown Seattle and on the east side in Bellevue. You have a really short commute time and you have a great quality of life in Madison Park. Now, the average price home in Madison Park is not on the inexpensive side. It is on the more expensive side. So we're looking at $2,250,000 for an average price home in Madison Park. But check this out. Here's the comeback that I'm talking about. If you compare this year with last year in Madison Park, they've actually seen a 10% increase in appreciation over this year. That's fantastic. And that says right there, ladies and gentlemen, that this area is on a comeback. Now, shifting over to the southeast side of Seattle, let's talk about Mount Baker. I was just out with my buyers today, showing them this beautiful turn of the century home in Mount Baker. And again, this area just has this old real charm. There's corner cafes, great coffee shops and pizza. There you can catch views of the city in Mount Baker that will just be dazzled by these views of Lake Washington. And there's neighborhood parks. You can play pickleball. People love Mount Baker for a reason. And this neighborhood too is making a comeback. In Mount Baker, you're going to experience quite a variety of homes. You're going to experience luxury homes and just average old homes. And those luxury homes can be found in Cascadia Street on Mount Baker and a few others surrounding that area. But on Cascadia Street, the average price home is around $4 million. But in the rest of Mount Baker, the average price home is a little bit more reasonable. And we're just talking about $1.1 million for an average price home in the rest of Mount Baker if you're not in that luxury category. And this is for a single family detached home that oozes charm and character and that has so many amenities and proximity to the lake, proximity to great grocery stores and walking distance, and you can get the light rail easy. So this area is actually on a positive trajectory as well, because I know it's making a comeback because the stats don't lie. And this area too has had a 10% equity increase year over year. So now let's head northeast to a neighborhood called Laurelhurst. If you've watched my previous videos, you know I've mentioned Laurelhurst before. It's one of my very favorite neighborhoods. It's close to the University of Washington. It's close to Lake Washington as well. It's got lots of views. And this is a neighborhood where people don't leave. People love Laurelhurst for so many good reasons. It's got this quality neighborhood vibe where you can find families playing, and the schools around Laurelhurst are very sought after as well. There's a private beach club right there in Laurelhurst. It's pretty cool. And the average home price in Laurelhurst is going to run you, well, it's pretty pricey. I'm going to be honest. This is the more luxury side. It is about $2.6 million, but this neighborhood too is making a comeback. Let me tell you the appreciation. It is right in the 8 to 9% range year over year that we've seen just this last year Laurelhurst appreciate. And that, my friends, is a comeback story. Moving on to a more affordable option, we're going to look at a neighborhood called Ravenna. Ravenna is pretty close to Laurelhurst. It's also close to the University of Washington. This is a great area for tech workers because of the proximity to the city. Families love it because it's got great schools. And the average home price in Ravenna is about $1.3 million. And again, the comeback story continues in Seattle. This neighborhood has appreciated around 7 to 8%. I think this neighborhood is poised to do even better in the coming months. Now let's move on to another neighborhood that's really under the radar. Most people from out of town would have never heard of it, but it's called Tangletown. Tangletown is in between a few different neighborhoods. And I just toured with some buyers there not too long ago. And we went to this amazing coffee shop called Zoka, which is one of the OG, like third wave coffee shops in the Seattle area. And it really put latte art on the map and people love it. But we toured the house and then we walked to the coffee shop and you could just tell that the neighbors were present at this place. Tanglewood is an undiscovered gem that is also making a comeback. The average price point in Tangletown is $1,450,000. And the appreciation rate that we've seeing year over year. Just this last year, we've seen this comeback story continue. It's 7.5 to 8.5% in the neighborhood of Tangletown. That is not a doomsday story when it comes to real estate, folks. That is good news. All right, now let's pass the Ship Canal Bridge and head to another neighborhood called Queen Anne. Queen Anne is one of those neighborhoods that always feels like it's flourishing. It's always doing well, but it's even doing better now. And this comeback story continues. And what I love about Queen Anne, well, there's great shopping in Queen Anne. There's great grocery stores, restaurants. It's got some of the most walkability in the city for a bedroom type community where there's lots of single family detached homes in Queen Anne that have great architecture. Some of them have views of Lake Union and the city of Seattle. And guess what? It's close to my favorite, the arena where hopefully our comeback Sonics, if you like basketball and NBA, we're hoping that we're going to get a team back. And actually you could probably skateboard or just bike ride to the arena and watch a basketball game. How cool would that be? So you're probably wondering, what's a home going to land me? What do I have to pay? What's the average price for a home in Queen Anne? That's going to run you about $1,650,000. And then the next question is, what's the equity increase year over year? Is this neighborhood too having a great comeback? And yes, it is. We're at 8.5% this last year that we've seen appreciation rates climb. This is good news, especially when so much of the country, the values are either flatlined or in some cases going down. Seattle, my friends, we're seeing in these neighborhoods, the values go up. Last but not least, I want to mention Green Lake. Green Lake is a phenomenal community. It's close to Woodland Park Zoo. Who loves the zoo? And Green Lake itself has this walkable path all the way around the lake. And you'll see people walking, biking, jogging. On the lake itself, you can rent paddle boards and you can rent all sorts of things on this lake except motorized vehicles. But you'll see people fishing there. People love Green Lake because of the restaurants right around it as well and the close proximity to the city. My favorite coffee shop I just discovered near Green Lake is called Pacha. They also have really great small food options as well. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're a foodie, you should check out Pacha. But Green Lake has a tremendous vibe that is also making a comeback. You'll find these small kind of postage stamp type homes, 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Green Lake. And you'll also find these larger homes, but the average home price in Green Lake is going to run you about $1.3 million. This last year, we've seen the equity increase 7.5% in Green Lake as well. Again, great comeback story. This is a thriving neighborhood that you're definitely going to want to put on your radar. And if you're from out of town, go visit Green Lake, walk around the loop and message me and comment below on what you liked about it, or even maybe what you didn't like about it. I'd love to hear that as well. So is everyone really leaving Seattle? Is Seattle really dead? I would say the data shows that it's not. Home prices are appreciating. People are coming back to the office. The city is moving towards the right trajectory. And I really believe that the glory days of Seattle are around the corner. And this is a great time to invest and even to move back to the city because frankly, the prices here are much more affordable than the east side. If you're looking at the same house in Bellevue or Redmond or Kirkland, you're going to be paying much more than you would in these thriving neighborhoods. So if you're relocating to the Seattle area, put the Seattle proper back on your list. There are some great neighborhoods here. Feel free to message me and comment below. And if you are exploring a move, I would love to help you. I help people relocate from out of town all the time. My team and I would love to assist you with your next purchase or even home sale. This is what we do. This is what we're passionate about. We love this place. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and make sure that you get notified of all future content. I'm Matthew Chapman, and I'll see you next time.